Who would have thought that a housekeeper, armed with nothing more than a simple bowl of rice porridge, would accidentally win the heart of his beautiful boss? The warm porridge slid down Jenya's throat, offering perfect relief from Victoria's high fever, perhaps due to her physical vulnerability, or perhaps simply because of the warmth of the porridge itself. The always proud and commanding Victoria suddenly felt a stinging in her eyes, for despite all her wealth, and having grown up in a broken home following her parents' divorce, she had long since forgotten what it felt like to be cared for in such a way. Gazing at Maxim's handsome face, Victoria realized she had fallen in love, yet the 12-year age gap loomed between them like a silent chasm. She finally mustered the courage to confess her feelings to Maxim, only to be gently turned down. Maxim explained that he dreamed of becoming a priest and had no intention of ever marrying. Victoria maintained a calm exterior, but upon returning to her office, she could no longer contain her disappointment and sorrow. And so, Victoria, who had never in her life bowed her head to anyone, prayed to God for the very first time, asking him to grant her Maxim and sincerely promising to perform more good deeds in return. But God, it seemed, did not hear her prayer, for the very next morning, returning home after working the night shift, she found Maxim's letter of resignation lying on the table. He had prepared one last dinner for her, and then he had left. Victoria gazed out at the empty house and, for the first time, felt just how vast it was, so vast that, without that one person, it seemed to have lost all its warmth. She assumed that Maxim felt nothing for her. After all, he had left without saying goodbye and had distanced himself completely. At that thought, an indescribable bitterness flooded her heart. But she did not know that Maxim was suffering just as much. He understood all too well that he, too, had fallen in love with Victoria. It was simply a matter of being torn between two paths. On one side lay his childhood dream of becoming a priest, on the other, a love that was just beginning to bloom. He left so he could think his choice through carefully, in silence. Yet the scales in his heart had already, involuntarily, tipped toward Victoria, for when his family, who had always opposed his calling, finally relented, he hadn't felt that. A moment later, his sister understood everything. Her brother clearly had someone on his mind. Upon leaving the house, Maxim didn't head to work. Instead, he went straight to the church to see the priest. He honestly confided in him about his difficult choice, hoping the priest would offer some guidance. But the priest didn't say much. He simply suggested that Maxim try on his vestments. Perhaps that would help him find the right path. At first, Maxim didn't understand, but as he donned the priestly robes, it all became clear. He felt none of that sense of a dream fulfilled, only emptiness and constraint. The answer was obvious. Victoria was more important than his dream. But Victoria